Hey folks, it's us again. Wake up. This is Old Buck Dell. And where's Old Buck Dave? You out there,
Old
Dave?
Buck Dave is here too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
here we
Hey, Old
are. We're
Buck
going to
Dave.
keep
Here we
you.
are at the coffee shop.
Yeah, we're going to keep you awake for another 30 minutes
We
with a
have,
little
or less.
more or less. Anyhow,
Okay.
let's
Anyhow,
see what we're talking about.
What's going
Let's
on
jump
today?
right
Let's
in.
figure
Yeah.
this out. Let's jump right in. Hey, I got a recipe actually, my wife got a recipe the other day, or made a recipe that my cousin used to make, and my cousin got it from her mom, who got it from a restaurant, Italian restaurant, something like that. Anyway, this is
Kind of a long lineage on this.
Yeah, this is from my cousin Nancy. I know who you know. You remember my cousin Nancy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It could be pronounced and spelled different ways. It could be Bagna Cauda or Bagna Cauda. Bagna Cauda. All right, it's Italian. It's got 3 ingredients basically. So you take 3 cans of anchovies, chop them up. The
I
twist
like anchovies, but they're salty.
That's correct. Okay. Just listen, all right?
I'll stay quiet.
This is not the health segment, all right? This is the food segment. I'll tell you, we took the drugs last time. So okay,
3 cans of anchovies
chopped up. Now this is this is to make a bunch. Now a large bunch of fresh parsley chopped up. I think parsley is underappreciated in our society. Parsley is a nice, tasty, not overwhelming herb. Anyway, 2 to 3 cloves of garlic, minced.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is getting your attention.
Mm-hmm.
And think about it, and add olive oil as needed to mix it together. So you don't want it to be too dry. Now, typically, this recipe does not have the fresh parsley. And typically it gets minced up very fine and mixed with olive oil, and that's kind of used as a dip, okay? You dip your Italian bread into it. But she makes it a little differently. She adds a lot of the parsley, and it's great on crackers, or you can put it on pasta. I put it on eggs today. It was great. So it's very...
Oh, you just had a batch of this.
Yeah. We still have a little bit left in the refrigerator here. Now, of course, you can't go out in public for about 12 hours after you eat this stuff, because the garlic is just oozing out every pore, but it tastes so good.
So this is a recipe for a hors d'oeuvre or a snack?
Yeah, you could put it on crackers, or it's very tasty. It's addictive. It really is.
I like anchovies on pizza, and all the other stuff is good. It sounds like it'd be fun. That's a good recipe.
It's a good recipe. Okay.
Send them in. Have some folks send a little thing like that.
That's an idea. Maybe
something
maybe
with 3 or 4 ingredients.
Recipe out there.
Not to exceed 4 ingredients. There you go.
Something that a guy could actually make. All right. Send them in to bucks2old@gmail.com. That would be us.
That would be us.
Great idea, Del. So, and thanks to cousin Nancy for that recipe. It was delicious, Nancy. Moving along here, I told you that we recently had family from Nashville down, and of course, the podcast went live here a week or 2 ago with the interview that I did with my grandson. So that's a little bit of different kind of podcast for us. So I'd be interested in some feedback there. But another thing that I picked up while we were down here was one of these, what do you call them? It's a little newspaper, a community newspaper. All right. For one of these beachfront.
It's called a community newspaper.
It would be called a community newspaper. Thank you. So they publish the police blotter in the community newspaper. Okay. So these are police reports that are published on this weekly Florida Beach Community newspaper, tabloid. That's the word I was looking for. It's tabloid. Tabloid size. It's not a full. I just want to read a couple of these. Talk about some of the serious crime that's going on here, and hats off to the police force there for maintaining their sanity and sense of humor.
I think that's a pretty limited. It doesn't consume a giant area. It's It's that little
It's a
tabloid
little,
is,
it's a strip,
yeah,
it's a beachfront
maybe
property, very,
maybe
some one
30
percenters
thirty
there, but that's
thousand people
okay.
at the most or
No,
something.
that's
I don't know.
okay. Maybe 3,000 or 300.
No.
Okay. It doesn't matter, does it? I guess. I'm sorry. So here's the citizen arrest. An officer was flagged down by a relative of a person who had fallen on the sidewalk earlier in the day. Well, okay, that's unfortunate. No, it's not funny at all. The relative relayed that another family member wanted the officer to know that the fall victim might have been distracted by a dog that was tied up nearby while its owner worked out. The officer attempted to look into this avenue of inquiry but found no dog near the location of the previous fall. That's the end of that report. So they had to be biting their tongue as they wrote this up. Jeez.
I'm thinking, I'm trying to think. That was in a little tabloid, and they found out to be newsworthy.
Yeah.
So they must be reporting really what gets called in, no matter what. You know what I mean? Like,
now here we go. Here we listen to this. We got an animal complaint. A visitor to a town park called police to report an injured raccoon. An officer arrived and pronounced the woodland creature deceased. The Public Works Department was notified. Next of kin was not.
So our author has a sense of
humor.
humor.
A sense of humor. I tell you, you got to hand it to these guys. Next of kin was not.
I wouldn't mind doing something like that. I think I could. I think I could add
You'd fit in there,
a tagline. Yeah, I could add a tagline.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what. There's a bunch of them here. I'm just going to do one more. I don't want to beat this one to death. This one's titled "Suspicious Person." Oh, I love this one. A caller alerted police to the presence of I can't even read this without laughing. I'm going to start. A caller alerted the police to the presence of a suspicious person underneath the bridge near one of the structure's bumpers. Police determined that the person was the bridge tender at work. End of story.
There you go. There you go. So anybody that's out of place on these sort of tabloid coverage is noticed and gets reported.
So hats off to the even-minded police there, and to the residents there. You guys have too much time on your hands. That's all I got to say.
So there you go. And then I was thinking, sometimes when you pick those things up, which often are given away free, you do it for the. I mean, it's not so much the articles; it's just a lot of advertising in those things, and they have a little one ad thing or something like that. You know? So anyway, I don't subscribe. I
always cringe when I hear a segment on the national news that starts, "A Florida man." When it starts, "A Florida man," it's not going to be "A Florida man won the Nobel Prize," or "A Florida man found a cure for cancer." No, that's not what happens. So I'm just happy we don't live in Florida, and we're not tainted by all of this.
We wouldn't. That's right. We wouldn't be a Florida man.
We wouldn't be a Florida man, but my sister-in-law, who lives in Florida, sent me an article from the Palm Beach Post written by Frank Cerabino. These are all, again, these are like from the police blotters down there, and they're really funny. And the sad thing is they're all true. You would think that people calling 911 are reporting crimes by others rather than creating fresh troubles for themselves, but that's not how we roll here in Florida. The latest exemplar of this unusual crime genre is Matthew Latham of Newport Richey. Got arrested after calling 911 twice in an effort to get a police officer to give him a ride home. Unbelievable. So he has he says it seems he's a proud ambassador, as he has a Florida-shaped tattoo on his forehead. Gee.
You don't see too many of that stuff.
No.
I don't recall it in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette or anything like that, or Chicago.
No, it's not the same. There's something that attracts him here. He says, underachieving citizens who advertise their state residence by Florida-shaped tattoos in their foreheads ought to be arrested sparingly.
Actually, things in Florida sometimes, I've seen articles where people call in to report somebody leaving, not shutting the gate behind them, call 911, or I
Oh,
mean, you think, holy smokes, why would you want to call the police?
mm-hmm.
So I think they must have special training for the emergency people to
Oh,
sort out what
yeah.
really is an emergency or
Yeah,
something like that.
geez. And Frank says, oh, man, he says,
Yeah.
then says the rest of the country just eats this up and it becomes national news. So, yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Okay, last year, 65-year-old Michael Gables of Punta Gorda summoned officers to his house with 911 calls 2 successive days. The first day his emergency was that he needed more liquor. So he says when the officers arrived, he pointed to a $20 bill on the couch, implying that they needed to get him some. So
just pick up the
officer
money
said
and go get the
this
booze.
was not an emergency, and then he called again the next day, said his emergency was that he needed ice cream and he didn't feel like getting out of his chair. So just unbelievable here.
A lot of the Florida man accounts have a section that says he mistook the gas pedal for the brake
Yeah.
pedal.
Yeah.
I bet that
Did he really?
happens about four times a day in Florida.
And he's got another story here about a guy called fire rescue on several occasions because he was lonely and needed somebody to talk to. Well, that's kind of sad. But anyway.
That's a sad one, but that's true too.
Yeah.
So a Florida man had no one to talk to, so he called 911. I think that probably happens 10 times a day.
Yeah. Let's see what else we have here.
So tell your friend to send more clippings if next time you.
Yeah. Oh, we got a couple. We just got a couple more here, and this is Cerabino's. Let's see.
You might want to read them beforehand.
I should have done that. Yeah. In September, police cruisers.
I'm watching you struggle with this.
Yeah, I am struggling.
I might as well be smoking a cigar, I swear.
Oh, God. Police cruisers raced to a McDonald's in Winter Haven after getting a 911 call about a dead body. Turns out the caller was just looking for a ride. And then we got another guy that called because the McDonald's messed up his burger order. He says,
"Oh, that happened."
Oh, here's the good part. He says, once while he was being arrested, now this is in Naples. It says, while he was being arrested and put in the back of the squad car, he felt it was the right time to announce, I have cocaine in my butt, according to the arrest report. He says the competition is fierce for Floridians getting to the 911 Hall of Shame. Another guy reported a drunk driver himself.
And ladies and gentlemen, truth is stranger than fiction.
So if you've got any questions on that, don't call us. Write to fcerabino@gannett.com. That's Mr. Frank. Thank you, Frank. Full credit for Frank. Well, listen, you started a tradition here last podcast by recognizing some old friends of ours. Do you have any other names that you want to add to the list?
I would like to carry on with that. Not too many on this list, but they all played a part in our early formation. And we just want to give a shout out to them. We want to thank the Williams, Weinhofer, and Wall firm for all that they helped us with, and like to
the people at the end of the alphabet that we know.
Yeah, I would like to thank the Dainty family, and shout out to B. Stryker and M. Copeland and their families. And we might have missed a few, but we'll get to them all. I just want to say they all played a part, and why the two old bucks are like they are, who they are, and we thank them all.
Great, thank you. So here I have these sayings, these Dave Barry sayings, and these Will Rogers sayings.
Explain those two guys. Give me a little background on those two guys. I know Will Rogers. He was just he was a philosopher. What was he? Just a comedian?
He was a writer. He wrote stories about the West. He was a humorist. He's got a lot of funny sayings attributed to him. He says, here's a couple of them for starters. Trust everyone, but brand your cattle. And never squat on your spurs.
Okay, that one makes sense.
Yeah. Will Rogers died in the 1935 plane crash in Alaska with bush pilot Wiley Post.
Ah.
Yeah. It was one of the greatest political country / cowboy sages this country has ever known.
He's a satirist,
Mm-hmm.
satirist.
Yeah. These are some of his sayings, and it says they're mostly from a cowboy perspective. It says, never slap a man who's chewing tobacco. That makes a lot of sense. You got to think about it.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think that kind of humor,
mm-hmm.
I don't know so much as it was funny. I think it just made sense.
It was wise. It could be funny. I thought it was funny, but you step back and think about it. Yeah. Never kick a cow chip on a hot day.
And everybody knows what a cow chip is.
You know, some of our listeners may not know what a cow chip is. It's not in the Snyder's potato chip bag, I'll tell you that. A cow chip is cow crap.
Well, how are you comparing this to Dave Barry?
Yeah, I'm comparing this to Dave Barry. He's a modern day kind of a satirist. He's one of my favorite authors. I think I've learned a lot just reading his stuff.
You mean contemporary humor or just
contemporary humor? Yeah. He's got a thing that's called 25 Things That I've Learned in 50 Years. All right. And now there's several versions of this. Sometimes, there were 19 and sometimes there were 27. And they may not all be actually his, but I think most of them are. And I had cut these out, actually, and I have them pasted inside my kind of leather folio that I used for work for years. And, when I
like
was
words of wisdom, kind of like words of wisdom.
Yeah, see, I'm going to give you some of them here.
All right.
And but I used to use these, go to a meeting, and it'd be just idiotic. I just open my folio and start reading Dave Barry again. These are some of them. Okay, he says, number 1, never under any circumstances take a sleeping pill and a laxative on the same night. Get it? That's
I get it.
That's sense. That's
you can learn that one the hard way.
You can learn that one the hard way. Yeah. Well, this is the one that I really love. This is actually his number 1 here. He said, if you had to identify in one word the reason why the human race has not achieved and never will achieve its full potential, that word would be meetings.
Listen, form a committee.
Ain't that the truth?
Form a committee and let's have a meeting to discuss that issue. Yeah.
These guys are, on slide 76 on their PowerPoint. Oh, God. You think the Bucks put people to sleep. Geez. Number 2, there is a very fine line between hobby and mental illness. Boy, oh boy, you can see that all around you. Oh.
I'm thinking all the hobbies that almost become addictive. Yeah. Golf.
Yeah, golf.
The money you can spend on
this is listen to this one, number 4. People who want to share their religious views with you almost never want you to share yours with them. Amen. So just out of curiosity, let's stop back. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just so
get some repartee here.
Okay, these are some. These two folks have said things or been satirical and not
to live by, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like in a serious sort of way, said in a satirical sort of way, so that you could actually say, he's right about that.
I agree with all that. Yeah.
And you can put it in a different context. And obviously after all the stuff and good brainiac ideas that I've submitted to you over coffee over the years. Yeah. Don't worry. We can get through this with this car with no chains on. So you're not classifying me into the and you're not adding me into that group with the great ideas and because I told you once I could have been a philosopher if I could have spelled the word that have put me in a class where I could have learned how to do that. So.
Yeah. Well, let
So
me give you a couple more days.
okay,
I'm
give me
not
some
going to
more
give them all.
days.
Maybe we'll sprinkle these in from week to week here.
Or just tag one on, you know, I mean, every now and
Yeah.
then throw one out there.
Yeah. Here's you will never find anybody who can give you a clear and compelling reason why we observe daylight savings time.
That's true.
That's true.
I read
That's
that
true.
one. Yeah, I saw that one. Clear and compelling was a key part of that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Another one?
Another one. You should never say anything to a woman that even remotely suggests that you think she's pregnant unless you can see an actual baby emerging from her at that moment. Oh, man, don't I know somebody who
Are you gaining weight?
asked a woman how many, when her baby was coming. I'm not pregnant.
Yeah,
It happened to one of us, and it wasn't you.
it wasn't me.
Wasn't you? Yeah, Jesus. This is one I really like. This is so true. A person who is nice to you but rude to the waiter is not a nice person. This is very important. Pay attention. It never fails.
I agree. I read that one too.
Don't you
That's
know?
true.
That is so true. Okay, I'll give you one more here. I'll give you one more. Is that a snore? Or just a snort?
The other listener in Canada just fell asleep. Yeah,
there goes Canada. Who's next? Oh, gosh. The one thing that unites all human beings, regardless of age, gender, religion, economic status, or ethnic background, is that deep down inside, we all believe that we're above average drivers.
Exactly.
That's actually sage. That's so.
My uncle said that to me one time. Have you ever heard anybody admit that they're a bad driver? I said, no. I said, not.
Never.
They drive terribly, but they never admitted so.
Yeah. All right. I think that's enough, Dave Barry, for today.
Well, that's all good stuff.
All good stuff. You got anything exciting to tell me?
I was going to ask you, did you ever get your eyes examined? You know how I am about eyes.
Oh.
You have an eye. You have it. You do.
You
did.
Yeah. You knew I was complaining about this the other day.
Well, I knew we're getting older, and we're always getting different lenses and so on. Oh, well,
I'm in the midst of an eye fiasco right now. Actually, it's kind of it's not over yet. It's not over yet, folks. But basically, I got an eye exam. I went to a new doctor. And I went for another reason. The eye exam was second. Oh, since you're here, we're going to see. Oh, it's been, I said, it's been 5 years since I got an eye exam. Okay. So they gave me an eye exam. They gave me a prescription.
They put the drops in?
At some point they did. Yeah, they did all that stuff. They did the eyeball pressure thing, the glaucoma test. They did a bunch of stuff. Yeah. I have dry eye. Okay, so they gave me some dry eye medication, which is marginally helpful at this point after months and months. Anyway, starting to sound grouchy. So I took the prescription and I got it filled elsewhere because, of course, the optometrist in the doctor's office, charge you like 3x what everybody else does. So you don't go there. You take your prescription and you run out the door fast. All right. So anyway, I got this prescription. They said, okay, it'll be 2 weeks. I said, all right, 2 weeks. And I got the glasses back, tried them on. The glasses have, like, for all old people, the transition lenses where they...
Yeah, reading and...
Used to be called like a bifocal or a trifocal.
Yeah.
Now it's a blend. Well, they'd set the blend too high. And they didn't believe me at first. And then... It's like I have to dip my head down to see anybody, okay, and look out the very top of the glasses.
Okay.
And finally, this woman said, "Yeah, you're right. You're right."
It's like better for ceiling towel if you're working doing like
yeah.
ceiling towel and you're always looking up. Yeah. Okay.
So otherwise, everybody's blurry.
Yeah.
And she said, "Yeah, you're right." She said, "You're right," and she said, "Okay, we'll send them out again." She said, "It'll be a week." Okay, another week. And it was really a week, maybe 8 days, 9 days. Got my new prescription. Take it home.
So, excuse me. Let me be clear. They've already screwed up one, right?
They've screwed up one, and now they fixed it. Okay. So
right. You now have a pair of glasses that are the right places in You can see.
Well,
Okay.
I'm about a month in now on the process. Okay. And I bring the glasses home and I start giving myself eye exams with my new glasses and my old glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, my old prescription works better than my new prescription. My left eye it's way out. They missed it by a mile. In fact, even the place that did the prescription, they said, "Whoa, this is a big change. This is really a big change." So okay, back to the doctor. I call the doctor. Well, okay, well you can come in. You can come in next week. Okay, so we got another week. Give me another eye exam. A new prescription, which made a lot more sense than the prescription they had given me. And the doctor said, just go back to the place that
filled the first prescription.
Filled the prescription, and just give them the new prescription, and they'll fix it for you. And I said, oh, wait a minute. I said, they didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. Why are they going to do this? He said, oh, they all do. They all do. I said, okay. So
I hope they're listening. I hope they're listening. The people who have to make these lenses 3 or 4 times for free.
So yesterday, I went back and took the new prescription. I said, my doctor says, got to tweak it a little bit. She looked at it. She said, whoa, this is a lot different than the one we just filled. She said, this is more than a tweak. I said, okay. So I said, well, can you fix this for me? She said, yeah, no problem. I said, really? She said, yeah. She said, this happens.
That was nice.
It'll be a week. I said, oh man. I said, I just wanted to hug her. I said, oh, you got a friend for life here. But so anyway, so I didn't get him back yet. So that's another week. So whatever that is. So we have a 6-week process. So.
Yeah. So this story is not yet ended. And find out these even work if you can still see out of them.
Right. But
the people out there who have
have
not worn glasses for a long time have got to have stories like this. So, I mean, if you're an old buck and you have glasses, I could go from glass stories to glass story. My most recent story is when we're going like, does this look better? Does that look better?
Yeah.
Is it A1, A2?
Number 1 or number 2?
Number 1, number 2. So they're doing it with it. And I said, man, why don't you just give me a pair of binoculars? I'll dial it in. And I'm serious. I said, I'll dial it in what I can see with. And you just make the numbers, but you couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Could not do that.
No.
So she's going back and forth. And I said, this one eye is just, it's not clear on 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I said, it's not clear. She says, that can't be corrected. I said, oh no. She said, maybe someday in the future, if they, replace your lenses with your cataracts or something. I said, oh boy. So,
wow.
If I ever lose one eye, I will not be able to see anything. So anyhow, all you folks out there in old Buckland, and I know if you wear glasses, you've gone through this. It's an industry that just is, try this, but it's not quite right. Oh, you'll get used to it.
You'll get used
to it. These numbers, you got a different number there. Well, you'll get used to it. It's close.
Wear it for a week. Wear them before you complain.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man.
Anyhow, good luck to you.
We are
interesting
real
story.
Yeah. It's not over yet.
Not over yet.
It's not over yet. All right.
Eyeglass stories.
All right.
So
hey, I got a short item for you here. We've challenged our female listeners to come up with the name of what a female listener here would be. She wouldn't be a buck. And this was
to be named something like equivalent to an old buck,
right?
Which we claim. Yeah. Okay.
The voting has been pretty heavy so far, and I would say that Vixen is in the lead right now. So that's kind of interesting.
An old vixen.
Just
a standard.
That's a fox. I think that's a fox.
Yeah, standard. I knew that.
You knew that. I'm sorry. Hey.
Okay, that's good.
Okay,
I'll go along with that.
Okay. All right, everybody. I think we're getting to the end of the segment here. We've got maybe 1 or 2 listeners that are still asleep,
awake.
that the melatonin has not taken effect. So I will say this is Dave.
And this is Dell.
And we are the two
old
bucks. Adios, everybody.